if you were born with a congenital heart defect like me, stick around. So I had the privilege of being born with Tetralogy Fallot, which if you don't know what that is, I'll put a picture here. It's basically having 4 different defects in one and having, like, I was born with a hole in my heart from it. And I was a blue baby, so they found me in cyanosis around 3 months old and rushed me to the hospital, and they were able to perform open heart surgery and patch the hole in my heart. Now, I feel like I had a pretty normal childhood considering. I've had a few abdominal surgeries as well, appendix bursting, rare cyst, other things. The inside of my body is in too many research articles that I don't even want to admit. Anyways, back on topic. If you have Tetralogy Fallot, one, I want you to know it sucks, okay? It sucks getting older and having this condition because it's a waterfall of different effects and things that you're always going to have. And like the desire to be normal is so overwhelming because you see all these other people that are just living life and oblivious and enjoying things, and you're just like, man, I have heart palpitations all the time. I feel like I can't breathe half the time. I have this and this and this that's wrong. I get it. I get it. But I hope that my story helps you feel a little better. I'm recording this because tomorrow morning I'm going to be getting an internal loop recorder. So if you don't know what that is, it's basically where they go in, they numb your chest. It takes like 5 minutes. They'll cut me open while I'm awake, stick the internal loop recorder, which is like this big, in my chest and suture it up, and then I go home. And I think the main thing is I can't shower or lift for 5 days. But this is because my palpitations have gotten so bad and they can't figure out. So I have VT, not sustained. I've had SVT, sustained and sustained. I also have PVCs, regular tachycardia. I suffer from panic attacks, especially nocturnal, which, guys, if you ever get the chance to be part of a clinical trial study like I did, where it's a part of like congenital heart defect patients, it's so validating. I always thought I was just a big scaredy cat for having all this anxiety, but it's actually really common for cardiac patients to have anxiety, depression, all these things, because like our crap's hard, you know? So I hope that makes you feel a little better. You're not a wimp. You're not, don't get down on yourself. I know we all do it. But it's just kind of like the hand we were dealt. But anyways, this internal loop recorder can be in me for 3 to 4 years, and it'll be like a live feed. So like it'll download the data and the doctor can look at it the day after. So like on New Year's Eve, I ended up in the ER because my heart rate got stuck at 210. They didn't know which one it was, so they couldn't do another ablation. I had a failed ablation 2 years ago. And so they're doing this to see if it's the dangerous kind, if it's VT, or if it's SVT, and I can get myself out of it. I used to be on beta blocker. I was on metoprolol. That shit just made me feel like I couldn't breathe because I have palpitations like 11 to 20% of the day every day. And it stops your adrenaline feed, but obviously when your heart skips a beat, that adrenaline feed helps it pick up and makes you get the oxygen back that you just got denied from that extra beat missing, and it doesn't do that, so you obviously feel more out of breath. It did help with the panic attacks, but so hopefully this will give me a headway on what to do next. Talk to your doctor about it. They're getting very big, and it's definitely something great to have. Low risk, peace of mind. I'm very excited to get it tomorrow. But yeah, I had my first open heart surgery, the patch on the hole in my heart, when I was 3 months old. And then in high school, I had an open heart surgery to repair my pulmonary valve, which that one, when they welded my sternum back together, my heart got stuck to the back of my sternum. So when they cut me open, they sawed into my heart, so I was like bleeding out on the table. So now I have a fluorescent neon patch on my heart so they know when to stop cutting, so that doesn't happen again. that experience wasn't terrible. I mean, I didn't know what was going on. I woke up, I thought everything was fine, but they replaced my pulmonary valve then, and then that valve didn't last. I was able to be part of a research study at a children's hospital in college where I had a pulmonary valve replacement through my leg, my groin, and I was back in college 3 days later. It was great. And that valve is the valve I still have today. It's been like 15 years, 10 years, I don't know. But now my pulmonary valve's still doing good. I have a little bit of stenosis, but now, you know, I have a heart murmur. I have an aortic aneurysm. So if you don't know what an aortic aneurysm is, it's the aortic root, which is like the bottom here, is dilated because of the pressure from the stenosis. And so if your aortic root gets dilated, the more and more it gets dilated, the more and more you're at an increased risk for it bursting and causing sudden death, which as Tetralogy Fallot patients, we're already at increased risk for sudden cardiac death. Learned that this month, so that's something to wrap my head around. So, but yeah, so I have that. I have to be careful when lifting, but after this internal loop, I can get back in the gym, which I'm really excited about because I'm a gym rat. And, but they'll be performing surgery on that once it hits 5.5, and I'm at a 4.5, and progression's been pretty steady over the years. I was playing volleyball, but I started getting SVT episodes, and like I was lifting heavy and I'd get stuck at like 155 in SVT, caught it on my Apple Watch, and the ablation wasn't successful. So now they're looking at another one, but they don't know, you know, what it is yet to attack. So that's why we're doing this. And I also, my tricuspid valve is starting to expand because of the stenosis in my pulmonary valve. And so that's causing issues. So my next heart surgery will either be the ablation or the tricuspid valve, fixing that up so it's not expanded, and the aortic root dilation surgery. So I'm 35. It's a lot. Every time I've had heart surgery, I swear the first like 5 years out of heart surgery and great, and then it's like, okay, we have to start watching this. This is degrading, and it frickin' sucks, man. So if you're a congenital heart patient, like, hang in there. I've actually found a community on Reddit. Like there's SVT, there's Tetralogy Fallot groups, there's congenital heart defect groups. And it's nice to just kind of be validated by talking to people that have been through what you've been through. And what's also hilarious is I've went on there and told my story, and so many people are like, wow, I don't have it nearly as bad as you. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm glad I made you feel better. And I do feel glad that I made them feel better. Because I mean, even with everything I've had, I competed in CrossFit once. I played volleyball. I played competitive volleyball in college for a bit until I needed another heart surgery. I played competitive volleyball 3 years ago before all this mess started hitting. So like, you don't have to stop living your life, and movement is good, but there are periods where you're going to have to watch things more. You're going to have to be more careful. You can't be like everyone else, and it sucks. But what I'm trying to say is the difference between you and a regular person that you know of is like, you're gonna be more short of breath. You're gonna have more anxiety, moments of adrenaline from the heart palpitations. And that's okay. Like, don't beat yourself up for what your body's giving you, and just kind of ride the waves. And like, normal people are at risk of dying of sudden cardiac death as well. I mean, you see plenty of people whose like heart explodes, or like a lot of heavy bodybuilders get aortic aneurysms and like that'll burst. So like, the only difference between them and us is that we know our risks and we're being monitored more closely, and we're constantly beaten in the head with like, these are all the things that could happen to you. And normal people can live Claire-free because ignorance is bliss, right? But yeah, I know this was a long video. I hope my story helped you. If anyone ever wants to talk or needs someone to talk about their heart condition, I'm here. I've been through it. I have plenty of resources. I've worked for children's hospitals. I've worked with doctors. I've been a part of research programs, and I'd love to chat.